All right, what's up, y'all? So, I came across this story about a rapper named BTB Savage who was just killed a couple of days ago. Now, I watched this interview with VLAd. He was stating that he does features with certain people, and then also he does his little music, and then he performs at certain events and clubs and things like that. There was a guy he knew that also performed at these events. So the guy hit him up and was like, "Hey, let's do a feature together." So, he's thinking it's legit. Like, I know the dude. I literally have seen this dude, and stuff like that, seen him perform, all of that. So it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and do the feature. So he says the guy, they end up hitting him up one day, I guess a day when they were gonna set up the meetup. They ended up hitting him up and was like, "Hey, we finna come over." And he said he thought it was kind of weird because it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But he was like, "Okay, come on ahead and come through," or whatever. He said, so the person come through, but then they bring a whole crew with them. So he said the whole crew, he kind of like, he got his son in the house, he got his girl. So it's just him, his son, and his girl, and that's it. He said this guy ended up stating that, "Oh, I forgot something," like he forgot some equipment or something. It was kind of weird that the dude that was supposed to have been doing the feature with him, he leaves instead of sending his people. Why you ain't send your people? You know what I'm saying? But you leave, and you leave your peoples there with me, and I don't know these fools. That's pretty much what the boy BTB was like. I ain't know these people. So he said one of the guys, I guess it was the guy that was doing the feature with him, uncle, like he stated like that was his uncle or something like that. He said the guy followed us into the house. He said when he followed us in, I hurried up and locked the door. I left everybody else out there, like, wait until the dude come back. And he said the guy was like, "Why you locking the door? You ain't got to be doing all that." BTB was like, "Listen, I ain't finna just be letting any and everybody just be walking up in my place. And then I got, like I said, I got my girl, I got my kid up in here." So, this dude, he said that the uncle dude, he was like, "Oh, that's cool," or whatever, "that's cool." He started pulling out money, counting money or whatever. Like, "Man, I do this every day. I do this every day." All this. Mind you, this man is a 34-year-old. I believe that's what BTB stated in the interview with Vlad. He stated that the man was like 34 something, 34, 35 years old. Okay. And BTB Savage, he's a young man in his 20s. He's still pretty much a baby. You know what I'm saying? Frontal lobe probably ain't even closed yet. So, that's what I just first thought was ironic, because you're supposed to be the elder, but now you're in this kid's house who actually is making an honest living, even though he may be rapping about his gang bang this, gang bang that. While he's up in the people's house, okay, the door's still locked. So I guess somewhere in there, this dude felt like, everything was looking sweet. It was looking sweet for him to rob the boy. So then he tried to end up robbing the boy. He said the dude pulling out guns, all kind of stuff or whatever. He said next thing you know, he go to wrestling with the guy. He got the guy on the ground and got like the guns pinned down or whatever. He said the guy had one gun in his hand, and like she's standing there, she got a beam on her head, and she's just standing there like in shock, and he's like, "Run," like whatever. So then she ended up getting a gun. He said she's never held a gun, never shot a gun, none of that. He said, so she was like real gangster. And it's like, instead of her freezing up and just automatically just being scared, he said this girl grabbed a gun, okay, and ended up shooting while he was holding the dude down. He was like, "Shoot, shoot him, shoot him." He said the girl shot him twice in the back. Shot him twice in the back. Now, after the guy got shot twice in the back, he said the guy still fighting with him. He said all of a sudden the guy like got an adrenaline rush. You know how like some people just start going crazy because it's like, you done got shot now, whatever. You start going crazy. You get like this superhuman strength. He said the dude really doing the most, but he trying to keep the dude down. He trying to hold the dude down. He said he keeping the dude like locked up with him, like trying to hold the dude down. Then next thing you know, his partner starts shooting through the door. So they shooting through the door. So he dodging. He dodging. He said he dodging the bullets, whatever, and still keeping a hold on this guy. Mind you, the guy was shot in the back twice, but he's still fighting. And he stated that after a while, he didn't hear no more shooting coming from the door. And he was like, "Oh, at that point, that's when he knew he had the upper hand." He was like, "Oh, they scary because they left." You know what I'm saying? So they scared. They left. He said he tell the dude like, "Hey man, get your shit and fucking go. Like, get your shit and go." You know what I'm saying? Go. He said the dude was like, "I'm not leaving here without anything. I'm not leaving here empty-handed." I'm like, "Bitch, you just been shot twice. You're gonna leave without your life." And thing. I'm like, man. Long story short, the guy continued to fight with him. All right. So he continued to wrestle with the guy, holding the guy and directing the girl where to shoot. Okay. So it came to a point where him and the guy was tussling with each other. Mind you, this guy had been shot twice and he still is going, you know. So it's also reminded me of some Scarface type junk too. So I wonder if it was any drugs in the guy's system, you know, after he'd been shot in the back and he's still just like amped up and still going. So the girl's aiming, mind you, she never held a gun before, and she shoots, okay, for the third time, but this time she hit dude in the elbow, you know, that's why he got this brace on his arm. She hit him in the elbow, blew his whole elbow off. So as he's holding the guy down still, the girl gets better aim, and this time she shoots the guy again, but he's still alive, all right? So he said at this point, he's still telling the guy, you need to get your stuff and go, you need to get your stuff and go. And the guy is still literally saying, I'm not going without nothing. But then it got to the point where the guy went to, you know, he realizing that his body's slowing down, and he went to crawling towards the door, you know, because that's where they're going to show is like blood on the floor by the door. You can see the bullet holes and all of that. And now the guy is like, you know what? Please, man, I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to die. He said the guy begged him. I know that this guy died in a dishonorable type of a way. Like, nobody wants to die doing something bad. You know, most people would rather die being a hero or die being old, surrounded by family, or die peacefully within their sleep. Or, you know, like, nobody want to die this way. Most people want to be able to repent, have some type of redemption. But it's like, now BTB Savage is young. He was young, you know what I'm saying? And I know these kids, you know, they around here, they don't understand, like, respect. So it's like he pretty much just straight up says that, you know, shit, I hope your ass die, you know? I don't care, blah, blah, blah. Now, he could have kept that stuff out of the interview, you know? Because this people's family is going to be watching this stuff. And no matter what people think about folks, you know, everybody has a family. Everybody has somebody that loves them. No matter how evil of a person, the Dahmers and the, you know what I'm saying? Everybody still has somebody that loves them. You know what I'm saying? So this man still had family that loved him, and then it was like you poking the bear. Then after the VLAd interview, he posted these pics. Now, I honestly think that was just straight up disrespectful and somewhat creepy. You know, because somebody had ran up into my home, you know, and I had to defend myself, and I ended up taking their life. Like I stated, I probably would be more angry than anything, just knowing how I am. I would be angry because I don't like being forced to do anything. So if you run up in my house and then I have to defend myself and then I have to shoot you and possibly kill you, that's something I did not want to do at my own accord. You know, you put me in that position for it. Not look at what the hell damn happened. You know, I would feel terrible. And, you know, he was stating during the interview that he did have somewhat of like PTSD from the situation. But I'm thinking, like, how you got PTSD and you actually would go back, revisit the crime scene, and then it's kind of like you are mocking the dead and his family. So, and people are also out here pointing the finger at VLAd. You know, you got a lot of people out here saying stuff like, you know, some of these interviews that VLAd be doing and stuff, you know, you got to be watching this dude because he had this kid come on to his show. He paid them, be dangling money in their face. Of course, they're going to take it. And, you know, he didn't even ask the kid really about himself, anybody's music, none of, like, really get really deep into anything. He just straight up just started going into, so, hey, I heard you got robbed, you know. This, that, and the third. My take on that, it takes me back to what Kanye was just doing, all right? Now, Kanye West was out here. He had all the controversy with the Jewish people, all right? And he was out here telling us that there are Jews that are in power and in charge or over certain platforms. VLAd is Jewish, okay? So, this is what I'm just seeing. From what people are saying, like, you got to be careful with doing interviews with this dude because he's just exploiting the black community, you know. He rarely has people on there that look like them asking him questions. He don't have the Eminems and the Machine Gun Kellys on there asking them questions about gangbanger life and stuff. So this is takes me back to what Kanye West was saying, as far as you have certain Jewish people that are in power and have certain platforms, and then they're out here exploiting the black community, all right? Black people are being affected by this, not even really realizing it, you know, especially because they is ignorant as hell. You know, this was like kind of like a perfect example of, I guess, what Ye was talking about. Now this young man then did this interview with VLAd, not even thinking about the repercussions of this interview, that people are going to watch it and share it. It's going to go viral. After he did, you know, allegedly put fuel on the fire a little bit more by posting them pictures, like you antagonizing the family, people that are already hurt from the situation. And this dude, and you know, watching all of the people that come onto his platform and listening to them. And it's not necessarily him talking, it's them telling their stories, but you know, he may be swaying the narrative in some type of way, because I be watching all the Bootsies, and I be seeing when Bootsy don't give a fuck about what VLAd be talking about. He'll be very like, mm-hmm. And I mean, if y'all know the other people, the other guy that was a victim, like some negative, some bad energy, some man, you know. All I can say is just pray for the people.